Morning, live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studio. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It is Tuesday. Hope everybody had a good Monday and kick off your Tuesday listening to our program. We got Franz Beard from Gator Media. Not a whole lot going on in the world right now, unless you're a USA men's soccer fan. Apparently, we stink in soccer. I couldn't tell you a thing about it. I do not watch it. Maybe this guy does. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Franz, are you a big USA soccer guy?
No. I go with the Dan Jenkins philosophy about soccer, in which you've said, "Take soccer, please." I think it's a great game for the women. I really do. The men's game is to me is very boring. The women, the reason I like the women is they've been good at it. The American men have not. So I guess there's something to that old saying that Americans love a winner, because I do like it when I watch the women's team and they win. Of course, they were slimed out of the last World Cup. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do moving forward, because the women's national team is Megan Rapinoe is no longer with them, and some other people. Alex Morgan won't be with them in Paris for the Olympics. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. But the men's team, no, in fact, my brother sent me a text last night, says, "Well, that's it for the American men." He said losing the way they did in Copa, he said it probably set the American men back 5 to 10 years. That's interesting.
Wow. Yeah. Like I said, I don't follow it at all. But obviously we're not very good, and that's bizarre to me. Sticking with the Olympics in the meantime, obviously the Florida Gators will be very well represented over in Paris. I don't know if you watched a lot of the Olympic trials, Franz, but I did. And I thought some of the performances were outstanding. Some of them were heartbreaking, especially gymnastics. I mean, gosh, there were girls getting injured left and right. Just your takes. Did you follow any of the Olympic trials?
Yeah, I did. It's sad what happened, because Sky, well, gosh, what is her last name again? Sloan Blakely.
Oh,
Sky Blakely.
Sky Blakely. Yeah.
I got so many people going through my head right now. Sky Blakely did a tendon, and an Achilles tendon, so she's gone for the year, and she was going to be the top recruit in the entire country this year, so she's gone for the year. Kayla DiCello got hurt. Don't know the extent of the injury. Fortunately for her, though, I don't think it's going to require more than the 6 months that we've got till the gymnastics season starts for her to rehab. But losing Sky Blakely hurt the team, because I thought with her they were hands down the top team in the country. But they did got to remember, the gymnastics team did get Selena Harris, who has had, I think, 5 or 6 perfect 10s, Pac-12 Gymnast of the Year from UCLA. She transferred in, so that'll ease the pain a bit. Leanne Wong on the team as a replacement, so if anybody gets hurt or whatever like that, Leanne will be stepping in, but she is officially a member of the U.S. women's national team.
Which is pretty cool.
Track and field. Goodness, Grant Holloway is going to win a gold medal. Guy's just absolutely incredible. Anna Hall, Ben Shelton's girlfriend, Anna Hall, is the top heptathlete in the world. She's on that team. Jasmine Moore in both the high jump. I mean, not the high jump, the triple jump and the long jump. She's going to be a threat to win to medal in both of them. I don't know if she'll win either one, but I think she will medal in both of them. So that's well represented. Swimming, Bobby Fink, the top distance swimmer in the world, will be back. Katie Ledecky, we claim her here at UF now, since she heck with Stanford, she's here at UF, and Katie Ledecky. What Shane, have you thought about how amazing she is? I mean, she's like 28 years old now. Seems like she's been around for 30 years, but she's 28 years old. I guess she's like Dara Torres. Maybe there's something to this water here at our pool or something. Because Dara Torres, as you know, won a gold, won a, I guess it was a bronze medal at age 40, which is
Yeah.
unheard of. Maybe there's something to the water in our pool.
Yeah, it could. I didn't realize Kaylee Ledecky is only 28 years old. Like you said, it seems like she has been in the spotlight for about 15, 20 years now, and she probably, gosh, she may swim till she's 40, like Dara. You know. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, Parker Valby probably won't medal this year, but watch out in LA. Yeah, we talked about this. I guess it was yesterday on the program. I mean, her grit in that race the other day that got her, she came in second, was just phenomenal. And I know nothing about long distance running, but everybody has chimed in since Parker kind of came onto the scene this past year about how these girls kind of peak when they get a little bit older, like 26, 27, 28. She's only 21, but boy, what an athlete she is.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because since she didn't have an Olympic qualifying time, missed that by 40, I think it was 49 tenths of a second. It was really, really close.
Can you explain to me what that means?
Well, you have they set a standard, the best in the entire world, and then they set it down from there, and it's to keep, like a nation like Pitcairn Island, for example, down in the South Pacific Ocean, where the people from the Bounty went. Pitcairn Island, sending somebody to become an Olympic swimmer, let's say, and just because he swam in a hotel pool. You have to have an Olympic standard so that people you can have one entry from a country, but if you have multiple entries, they have to hit the Olympic standard.
Gotcha.
Parker didn't hit it. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact running the 5,000 and the 10,000 at that level. I think she would have been very, very smart to not have run the 5,000, but she was trying to figure that, well, maybe I can get either or, and she finished fourth in the 5. The question being right now, since she did not make the Olympic team, will she come back to UF to win one more national championship for the Gators? And I think that's a possibility, although, the pro circuit, I don't know how much they pay, but I'm sure it's more than what she gets on her NIL money, but it might be worth it for somebody to pitch in some NIL money to keep her here for another year.
So she is not on the Olympic team, even though she came in second in that race?
I think she is there as like a replacement, but she's not going to be running. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. That just makes no sense to me. I understand about the Olympic standard or whatever, but the girl that won it, I mean, she was right on her tail and she busted her ass to come in second place. I feel like she earned it to get on the Olympic team. But anyway, enough of that. The Gator basketball team in the last few days has pretty much, I believe, filled their roster out, Franz, with some overseas guys. You know anything about them?
Oh yeah. First one they got was they got Victor Mikic, who's a Serbian kid who played at Hamilton Heights Christian Academy up in Chattanooga. We've gotten players from there before. It's been a good place for the Gators, but he's a 6'11", 240-pound banger. I mean, he is a tough kid. When you think about it, next year, Shane, Florida will have Sam Alexis, who's 6'8", Alex Condon, who they list at 6'11", but I know he's already over 7 feet. Thomas Hawk, who is they listing at 6'9". I'm told he's grown to 6'10". Ruben Chiniello, who came in from Washington State, who's 6'10", Mikic, who's 6'11", and then Olivier Rioux, who is a walk-on, but he's 7'9" now, 298 pounds. When I saw Todd Golden, I said, what we need from him is for him to be a 5x5x5 guy. He said, what's a 5x5x5x5 guy? I said, 5 minutes, 5 rebounds, 5 block shots, and 5 fouls. And Todd laughed. He says, if he can do that, we're going to win a lot of ball games. The other guy they got is this kid. He has been playing with Real Madrid subsidiary, sub team. They have these, the European system's a whole lot different. But anyway, he was contracted out to Real Madrid and then played with one of their teams in a lower league that's owned by Real Madrid. His name is Urban Klavzar. Last time we got an Urban here, it was a pretty good deal, don't you think?
Not too bad.
Yeah, but he's 6'1", 185 pounds, but he is a really, really good shooter and distributor. He's a point guard, but playing in the under 20 European FIBA championships, he averaged 15.4 points, 2.1 rebounds, 3.9 assists per game, hit 37.5 from the 3-point line. So with now they have all 13 scholarships filled. Micah Hanlogton is going to redshirt this year. They do not want to push him. They've got enough tall guys, and they want him to be stronger, and they want him to, particularly in the lower legs, and they want him to come back to be about a 270-pound beast that's just going to, crush people on the inside. The interesting thing, Shane, is we only have 3 guys on this team that are going to use up their eligibility this year, and that's Elijah Martin, that transferred in from Florida Atlantic, and he's a huge addition. Trust me, he is a huge addition. He can play the point, play the wings, it can defend probably 4 positions, even at 6'2". Excellent shooter, decision maker, and a real leader. And you got Will Richard and then Walter Clayton Jr. I think Walter Clayton Jr. is going to probably average about 21, 22 points a game this year. He is going to be a stud. The guy that's going to surprise everybody this year is Denzel Aberdeen. This is going to be his year to blossom. I promise you, he's going to play major minutes and may end up being the primary ball handler on this team, which will move Walter Clayton Jr. down to the wing where he can focus in on his shooting. This is going to be a really good team. I think I hesitate to say Final Four potential, but let's just say deep run in the NCAA tournament potential.
Yeah, it should be fun. I saw Hanlogton. He was out with a couple other players on the golf course a couple of weeks ago out at UF. You could tell they're not very good golfers, but you could tell he was still kind of had like a little limp. So it's probably a good thing that he's redshirting this year. Franz, I saw this before we move on to football. I don't know if people saw this. I screenshot it off of Twitter. The top schools in athletic revenue for 2023. Did you happen to see that?
Somebody repeated it to me, but I haven't seen
where do you think the Gators rank in the country in top schools in athletic revenue?
Probably about 10th.
And I don't know who had this report. It's a college football report. I don't know. This has to be more than just football, I would think.
I think it's the entire athletic department revenue.
Yeah, 15th. So I'm going to give you the top 15. Ohio State at $279 million. A&M at 200, a little bit less than 200, about 278. Texas, Michigan, Georgia, Nebraska, Penn State, Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Clemson, Auburn, and the Gators came in at 15th at $189 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, Yeah, this is an area that Florida's really got to catch up in. $189 million sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but we've got a long way to go to catch up to the Longhorns and the Aggies in this league. Only God has more money than the Longhorns, and as we're going to see, they're just they're an absolute money-making machine out there, which is one of the reasons why Greg Sankey was very happy to welcome them into the SEC. Shane, back in 1992, your senior year at UF, when we added Arkansas and South Carolina, the goal was for Roy Kramer was to bring in Arkansas and Texas. Texas wanted to come then, but the problem was they couldn't come without the Aggies, and we didn't want the Aggies at the time. So that
Mm.
was the original goal with expansion. When we expanded in 2012, we took the Aggies again. We took the Aggies then. And the Aggies wouldn't come with Texas, and that was the ideal then, was to take Texas and Texas A&M, but instead we end up with uh, Texas A&M and Missouri. So this is the third try to get Texas in, and we finally got them in. I think it's a really good deal to get them in. I know a lot of people are probably mad about it. They think that we didn't need it. I know all the Aggie fans are because think about it. The Aggies are now permanently big little brother. And that's why they joined the SEC to begin with, was to escape being little brother. And now they are little brother forever.
There's no question about that. We got a couple of texts here on the Titan MR text line from Josh. I'll do the Olympic one first. He says, QB, it seems like we got 11 Gators on the Olympic team. Go Gators. There may be more than that, Franz. If I think we have a bunch of Gators on other countries' Olympic teams as well. Yeah. So it's probably more than 11. Would you say?
Oh yeah, we've got 2 Canadian soccer players who are Gators. We've got let's see, 3 or 4 Canadians who are swimmers, for example, who are there. I think Anya Pilgrim is going to be representing the U.S. I mean Barbados, for example. That's her family's home now. She lived in Washington D.C. area when she came to the Gators, but I think she represents Barbados, for example. She's tremendous talent. And so on like that. So yeah, we'll have probably another, I'd say 10 Gators who are going to be representing other countries. So
yeah,
University of Florida is going to be very well represented. I think somebody pointed out, I think at the last Olympics, that if you took the Gators that won medals, we would have finished like University of Florida would have finished 12th in the Olympics for medals.
That's funny. That's pretty cool. Sutter Pro Painters of Gainesville is the area's leader in painting excellence and proud partner of the Florida Gators, offering professional painting services for homes and businesses, plus cabinet refinishing and carpentry repairs. Visit sutterpro.com for a free estimate. Another, we got a lot of Olympic text here, but this is an interesting. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll give you my answer, and Franz, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is from William. He wants to know, why do some of the Gator athletes at the Olympic trials in track wear the Gator uniform and some are wearing Adidas or Nike? I believe if you're still a collegiate athlete, you're supposed to wear your school, and then the other guys are being paid by Nike or Adidas. Is that correct, Franz?
You are absolutely correct. If you've graduated from UF and or exhausted your eligibility, technically speaking, you're no longer representing the University of Florida. You are representing whoever it is that you run for on the track circuits. So yeah, they'll be Adidas or Nike or some New Balance, for example. New Balance is big on the pro track circuit.
Yes, for sure.
But I wear Hokas.
You wear Hokas, those big platform shoes. They're very comfortable, supposedly. They make so Franz, in real life, you're about 6 foot, but when you put your Hokas on, you're about 6'3", right?
6'1.5". I'm 6'7". I've checked.
Yeah. On YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Mark's question is, instead of the East-West Conference, I guess he's referring to football, do y'all like the setup now? So basically, if people have been living under a rock, now the SEC with 16 teams coming in, there is no East-West. So Alabama can play Texas for the SEC championship. Florida could play Georgia for the SEC championship in Atlanta. I like it. What do you like it, Franz?
Yeah, I do, because for example, you take back in the day when for example, Florida and Tennessee were, just about every year the best two teams in the SEC. And instead, I think one year we got Mississippi State in there with with like an 8-4 record. And you're talking about putting your conference champ gets into, the automatic berth into the playoff, even though it's expanded to 12 teams. And you want that to happen because you want them to get the bye. There's going to be, 4 teams that get byes, and then you're going to have 8 teams that have to play. So you don't want the bye team with the automatic bid to be like an 8-4 or something like that. You want your best team in there. So that's going to guarantee that the best team gets in, the team with the best record. And maybe some years it would be like Georgia and Florida. Maybe some years it would be like, for example, Texas and Oklahoma, or Texas and LSU. So, but at least it assures that you get your best teams in there, and it assures that you're going to get your best team as your automatic berth in the college football playoff. And that's going to be 12 teams. That's going to be quite interesting moving forward to see, because I think this year, for example, I think Tennessee's got an excellent chance to make it, not because they're going to be that good, but because they have a pansy schedule. The same is true with Missouri. Tennessee's schedule is ranked, I think, like 56th nationally or 52nd nationally. Missouri's is ranked 62 nationally. And they don't play, for example, that both those teams, looking at their schedule, they may have 1 loss or 2 losses on that schedule. That's it. They could be in at 10. Tennessee could be in at 10-2 and not be a very good team.
Interesting. Sitting here today, July 2nd, how many SEC teams do you think are going to make the playoffs?
4.
4. That's what I think 4 as well.
You're going to have the Big 12 is going to have 1. The ACC is going to have 1. The the Big 10 is going to have 1, and the SEC. So those teams their champions are guaranteed to get in, and then you get 1 champion from the group. Then you get 1 champion from the group of 5. So figure that's probably this year going to be the Mountain West. So you're going to have 7 at-large teams. Notre Dame doesn't have a great schedule, but they could. So I think Notre Dame's probably going to go 10-2 this year, and they'll probably make the playoff. Again, like Tennessee, though, I don't think they're necessarily going to be a great team, but they're going to be, they're going to have a great record based on their schedule. And I think I think we're going to see that they're going to have to tweak this system. This is the first year of the 12 team system, and I think they're going to have to tweak it. I thought years ago that if they really needed to be a 16 team tournament, and then you'd have every conference champ, and then take your wild card teams. And now that we're the Pac-12 has become the Pac-2, you'd have 9 conference champions, then you have 7 at-large teams. And I think that would be a perfectly good tournament. I know a lot of people say, well, Appalachian State, for example, can't compete. Well, they went up to Michigan back in 2007 and knocked off the Wolverines in the Big House. So don't tell me they're not capable. They may not be capable of sustaining a run that would require them to win 4 ball games in the tournament, but they're certainly capable of winning a game. And that's what I think. That's kind of like the NCAA basketball tournament, Shane. You get teams in
Hmm.
there that you know that they're incapable of going 6-0, which is what it would take to win the tournament. But they're very capable of winning one or maybe two ball games, getting to the Sweet 16. We see that every year. We see at least one team that gets there. So I'm all for expanding it to 16 teams. I think I'm happy that it's at 12 because it's better than 4, but I think 16 is the ideal number.
Yeah, I love the expansion. I do hope for the group of five, if that's what we still call them, the App States, the Troys, that group. I hope they have their own little tournament for their own national championship. I think that'd be fair. But they still play a regular season game to make the money, playing a Florida, Alabama, or whatever. So
Oh, yeah.
we'll see. But I'm with you. I can't wait to see how this 12-team playoff works. And I do think at least 4 SEC teams make it this year. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by it. We got Franz Beard, the Iron Duke, right here, talking a little bit of everything. So you touched on football. Let's touch with the Gators. Right now, it's kind of a downtime. We're less than 2 months away till toe meets leather against the Miami Hurricanes. Basically, all they're doing is just lifting and running and getting in shape, getting ready for training camp. People want to continue talking about the hardest schedule in America. I say I don't care how hard it is. You embrace it. You go play. If you go 9-3, you make the playoffs. Just your thoughts on this upcoming football season, Franz.
I think we're going to see a much improved team. Shane, here's the reason I feel very optimistic. Ron Roberts is coming in, and you look at the people that they brought in on the defensive side of the football. They got 3 extraordinary safeties coming in, and I think that's been the weakness of this team over the last couple of 2-3 years is the safety position. But you look at this, look at how many passes last year were completed in what I call no man's land, which is the area between the safeties and your linebackers and that gap in there. And I think our safeties played off the ball too far. It reminded me of Ohio State, Florida in 2006 when I had the Ohio State safeties playing as much as 30, 33 yards off the football because they were so afraid of the Florida speed. And so all we did the whole day, Chris Leak just, was throwing little dump passes to Dallas Baker, to CI and to Percy, and we nickeled and dimed them to death, and they couldn't stop it. And it reminds me of what happened with us the last 3 years. And our safeties were playing so far off the line. And now we've got safeties who can cover and can hit. I've been told by somebody who's very, very close inside the program that Asa Turner is we may nickname him UNIVAC because he's like a computer out there, sees the whole field. He's that great traffic cop. He is this year's version of Ahmad Black. Ahmad Black was that guy, as you remember, Shane, in 2008, 9, and 10. He was the traffic cop back there that kept everybody in place, knew where everybody needed to be, knew what everybody needed to do. And you got to have a guy like that. You have to have a guy like that on the back end of things. And then you got Turquoise Bridges, I think he's going to be your guy who's going to be covering your slot guys and your move guys. And then the third guy out there is DJ Douglas. And people tend to forget this guy was a 5-star recruit out of to Alabama when he started his collegiate career. Okay, now he's with Florida. Now he went to Tulane. Now he's with Florida. I know Tulane people who say losing Michael Pratt to the NFL, who was their quarterback, was one big blow, but they said the big blow to the defense was losing DJ Douglas to Florida. They said the guy's an absolute stud who will just knock somebody's head off. And we need a guy like that. We need an enforcer back there. We need a meet Mr. Right back there who can just absolutely terrorize people.
Yep, I agree 100%. This whole season, comes down to defense for me. And Mark's question or comment on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. I agree with Franz on the defensive backs, but you need pressure to pressure the QB. That's the key. It's both. I think we have good corners. I've been saying we've had good corners. I think the addition, as you mentioned, of those three players in the secondary, at the safety position, nickelbacks, whatever, I don't know where Bridges is going to play, will help. Friends, it's going to come down to our front seven.
Yeah.
Who that we brought in? I know we brought in Slackman. We got L.J. McCray, highly recruited kid. You got Pup Howard, the transfer. You got Miles Graham. All really good football players. But who is the one player or two players on the defensive side of the ball that have to have a year for us to have the kind of year we want?
Well, one thing that's going to help a lot is getting Justice Boone back. He was going to have a big season last year, and getting him back is huge. But the guy that is an under the radar guy, and Shane, he is going to be a real stud, and that is George Gums, who transferred in from Northern Illinois. And when he went to Northern Illinois, he was a wide receiver at first, but he's now like 6'6" and 245 pounds, and he's one of these guys just freaky off the edge. Led the MAC in sacks last year, and he's a guy that can come in and really get some pressure off the edge. LJ McCray is going to be really good too. And I don't know that he'll be tremendous in the first half of the season, but I think in the second half of the season, after he's figured out that this is certainly tougher than high school football, I think he'll be really good. And I think that I think we're going to have the issues off the edge resolved this year. I think we're going to have guys that can get to the passer, and a lot of that I think has to do with the guys on the inside. If you can collapse the pocket from the inside, the guys on the outside are going to have a great day. You look back at our 2006 national championship team, Harris in the middle. I predicted after, I had talked to Greg Madison, and Greg Madison said, you watch what he does in the middle. And he nearly had 2 sacks himself, but his sacks actually would have been credited to the Ohio State center, because he knocked the centers back so far that the center almost collided with Troy Smith. On the play, the definitive play of the entire game on the defense, which was Ohio State going for it on 4th and 1 toward the end of the half when it was still like a 24-14 game. Harris knocked their center back so far. He interfered with it. The handoff took place about a yard further back, and that gave Ray McDonald time to get there. That gave Brandon time to get there. That Brandon Spikes as well. So it's amazing what happens when you got that guy in the middle that can do it. I think they're going to be much better in the middle of the field. I think Joey Slackman's going to make a big difference there. He is a tough guy that can do things, and he is a guy also on that defensive line, Shane, that can move people around. I mean, when you played, you had Brad Culpepper in there, and Brad Culpepper was another guy that was like, everybody else is thinking football, he's thinking formulas and stuff like that. I mean, he's just so smart. But he moved people around. He got people in the place they needed to be. And Joey Slackman is that kind of guy for Florida this year. Transferred in from Pennsylvania, Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year. But a really good player, and a guy that, as Billy Napier has said, his presence, you felt his presence in the entire facility from the day he arrived. That's the kind of respect the guy commands, and you got to have guys like that. I'll throw one other thing at you though. Ron Roberts last year went to Auburn. He improved their defense by 4 first downs and 7 points a game. 4 first downs, translate that into 12 more plays for the offense and 12 fewer plays for the defense, because that's what it basically amounts to. 7 fewer points. if the Gators have 7 fewer points per game last year and 4 fewer first downs, I guarantee you they would have won 8 or 9 ball games.
Yeah, we got to get off the field on third down. There's no question. All right, a couple more questions and we'll get you out of here, friends. Jack's question for both of us. He says, do you think that with the new ruling allowing more coaches on the field during the game, it will help or hurt us with too many cooks in the kitchen?
I have 2 words for that: special teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got to do their job. It's that simple.
Yeah. And the biggest thing I think is going to be the people up in the booth. You're
Yeah.
going to have you're going to have Dan Enos up in the booth. And Dan Enos is a veteran head coach and offensive coordinator and everything like that. And anybody who doesn't believe this guy can really coach, go look at the stats for Dan Lefevre, Central Michigan, about the same time as Tebow. Look at his stats. They were astounding as a dual threat guy. Now, Florida's Graham Mertz is not going to be a dual threat guy, but the guy behind him is DJ Lagway, who is, and this guy's here to be DJ Lagway's personal coach, but he's also here to be that guy in the booth, and it's going to help. But the special teams, especially, we win the Utah game last year, if not for the special teams blunders, and we had them throughout the year. But this year we got a great long snapper, Rocco Underwood. We've got Trey Smack, who I think is going to blossom into being maybe the best field goal kicker in the SEC, and the Australian Dream back there as our punter. I mean, we're loaded up there. We've got guys that can get the job done on special teams, and now we've got a special teams coordinator. And this guy was brought in. They had him as an analyst, but I guarantee you, Billy knew what was coming on. And he brought him on because this guy is now going to be the head guy for special teams, and they've got that now without taking away from any other coach having to share his responsibilities.
Yep. All everybody's got to do is do their responsibility while they're in the box or on the sideline. And a lot of this nonsense does not happen anymore. Okay. Last question for you here on the Titan No More text line. This comes from Jimmy. He says, Franz, if you're the general manager and you are starting a new team in the Major League Baseball, you have to pick one of these guys to start your franchise with. Do you take Jack Caglione or do you take Wyatt Langford?
Oh gosh, no, you can't go wrong with either one of them. You really can't. I think in the upcoming Major League draft, though, I think the Cleveland Guardians seem to be set on the Brazana kid from Oregon State, who's a second baseman who hits with good power and is really a great gap hitter, and they are really set on him. I think Cags is going to be the going into as the number 2 or the number 3 guy. The ideal place for him as a hitter would be Denver, a guy that can hit like he can in Denver. We saw what happened with Todd Helton in Denver. Helton.
He'll be hitting routine fly balls that'll be going out of the ballpark there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That to me, that would be the ideal landing spot for him. He's going to fast track to the majors. And the reason he's going to is you look at how he cut down his strikeouts this year. I think he only had 26 strikeouts and 200 something at bats for a guy that swings as hard as he has. And I've never seen anybody in college baseball swing more viciously. And that's the word that's really appropriate for him. He is a vicious swinger. It's like every time he swings, he's intending to pulverize the baseball. And he does that a lot of the time too. If you look at his exit velocities, he's a great hitter. Now Wyatt Langford is just coming into his own. He hit for the entire month of June. He hit like 305, but for the last 7 or 8 ball games of June, when he really caught fire, he was hitting about 350. He's proven tough to strike out. He's willing to take walks. But you look at that box score every day, and the numbers just keep growing. He's going to be a really, really good ball player. I'm not going to say that he's going to be a Hall of Fame type, but you never know. I mean, he's just 22. He's just 22 years old. Um, Jack Caglione is just 20 years old. These are
Do you
kids.
do you do you think? Well, why just stay at DH, or do you think they'll eventually put him out in the outfield?
Oh, he's playing left field most of the time now.
Oh, he is. I thought. Why did I think he was just being the DH?
He's the DH probably every fourth game.
Oh,
But
okay.
but they DH'd him a good bit after he came back from his hamstring. But
Gotcha.
now that his hamstring's okay, he's playing left field. Jack's gonna be a first baseman.
Correct.
Jim Schlossnagle said that he's the greatest fielding first baseman he's ever seen in college baseball, and I think that's a pretty high compliment coming from him, the new head coach at the University of Texas. Isn't that funny?
Okay. Last one. This came in this text. This is a good one here from Greg on the Titan More text line. It says, how many wins does Billy need this year to keep his job? And do you like what Sully has done so far in the transfer portal?
Billy Napier's job is not in jeopardy this year. Now, if next year he doesn't have a really good team, yeah, then he would be. They're not going to risk losing DJ Lagway, which they would do if they fired Billy this year. DJ's here because that relationship he has with Billy. They're not going to risk that because they know what's going to happen for the future. But trust me, he's going to win ball games this year. You don't have to worry. The reports of his demise are greatly exaggerated. Sully has really done a good job in the portal. Today's the last day for people to enter the portal, but people can continue to be signed. I think they're going to sign probably 2 more players in the portal, maybe 3. They've gotten 2 starting pitchers. Michael Jones was the Southern Conference Pitcher of the Year at Sanford at 13-0 record. I mean, my gosh, Billy Barlow comes from Clemson. He's a guy that they use very carefully because he missed all of last year with an arm injury. They used him very carefully this year. I think his velocity got back to normal as the season progressed. I think he'll be a breakout guy. But you look at the important guy to me is the guy in center field, Kyle Jones. He's the reason Michael Robertson transferred, because he is a true Gold Glove center fielder, hit .355 at Stetson, and he's a guy that his body really hadn't filled out yet. He's 6'3", he's probably 190 now. I can see him out at 210 pounds, and probably when he gets to be 210, he's a guy that'll be hit 15, 16 home runs as well. But he's truly a Gold Glove center fielder. Blake Sear, the guy they got him in from Miami, he spent most of the year injured, but as a freshman a couple years ago, he hit 17 home runs. So he's a guy, he's another outfielder. Big question to me is going to be, does Ty Evans choose to come back? If he does, then we're really set in the outfield with some speed, some defense, some hitting. The other thing that to watch out for is this: Colby Shelton has 2 years eligibility, so he is the guy that truly has the leverage. If he doesn't like the team he's playing for, gets drafted by, doesn't like the amount of money that they're offering, he can come back. And personally, I think he'd be wise to come back, cut down on his strikeouts next year, and I think he could be a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, Franz, great stuff as always. Appreciate your time, my friend, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care, Shane. God bless you.
That's Franz Beard, the Iron Duke. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick timeout, come back, get to some of these Facebook Lives and questions on the Titan More text line. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security Systems Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors, CertaPro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Campus USA Credit Union, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Riz Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Again, give a good shout out to my man Franz Beard for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Andy says it's cool that Sean Kelly was able to call Wyatt Cycle on ESPN Radio. Yeah, that is pretty cool for sure. Richard's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law. It says, Shane, you know anything about the shortstop we took out of Washington? I think you're referring to softball. I know we have an Alabama shortstop. I thought the girl that we got from Washington was an outfielder. So I could be wrong there, Richard. I'll get some information. You know, Tim Walton was named the National Coach of the Year. So congratulations to T-Dub. Well-deserved for sure. Michael says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. Look at what Miami is doing in the recruiting for 25 right now. They're killing it. FSU as well. Gators will need to keep up with paying for the top 4 and 5 stars for future classes. Well, everybody's paying. Look, I would not worry about the 25 class right now. We need to focus on winning football games starting August 31st. And if we win and have a great year, I don't give a damn if we have the worst recruiting class. That's all I care about right now is winning games this year. I don't know if people saw this or not, but if you're interested, if you like to go on cruises, there will be an inaugural Gators at Sea fan cruise for next February 2025. It's like a 3-night cruise. Some of the Gators that are already committed to be on this cruise: Alex Brown, Brandon Spikes, Amanda Lorenz, Preston Tucker, Skylar Wallace. And they say they will have more announcements of the athletes that will be involved in the weeks to come. So if you're like to go cruising and you want to go on a Gator cruise, go check it out at floridagators.com. Chad says great players will come if we win games. That is so true. Andy asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, if Jason Tatum is worth $314 million, how much is Caitlin Clark worth to the NBA and basketball in general? But we all know the Caitlin Clark deal. The girl sells out gyms, gets them chartered flights, and nobody gives her any respect in that league. It's a shame. She's worth a lot, but we all know WNBA girls, women don't get paid a whole lot. I did see where the Celtics, speaking of Jason Tatum, I think they're up for sale. Anybody that listens to this program that wants to buy the Celtics, a couple $2 billion will get you the Boston Celtics, the world champions. So Richard, back to the Washington girl, says her bio says she played shortstop and third or freshman year, so she might have. Well, here's the thing about Tim. he works so well with the athletes that he looks at their skill sets and what will they do to help my team win more games. And if she's athletic, he'll put her in the outfield. I mean, think about Amanda Lorenz played multiple positions, as did Megan Bush. She was a shortstop for a couple of national championship teams. Then they brought in a better shortstop, moved her to first base. So he's going to move these girls around. And he likes to take girls that are very athletic that can play multiple positions. That way he has more options as a coach. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food, Tropical Smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. Joseph says on Facebook Live, I'd rather the kids commit late and actually sign with us than commit early and flip on us like it happened last year. Yeah, I agree with that. I would not do not worry about recruiting. All you Gator fans, all we need to worry about this year is winning a bunch of football games. And I'm excited. I think this team has a good chance. Got to get off to a good start. We have to beat the Miami Hurricanes. No other way around it. Kanye Ron wants to know if I'm going on the cruise. I have not been invited on the cruise, Ron. So as of now, no. And I have no idea what I'm doing in February of 2025. I can't look that far ahead. Tomorrow's program will have JC. I'm trying to get another Gator coach on tomorrow. This week is terrible for guests. Everybody's on vacation. I'm not around. I'm on the road as well. Tough week to get people on. But JC and I will have our Pete Slandeno John Deere Classic picks. We had good picks last week. And he says the price tag on the Celtics is only at $4.7 billion. Bought in 2002 for $360 million. That's JC's type of return. Yeah, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. Kanye Ron, do they have a golf range on that cruise? I don't know. So I think some cruises you can hit golf balls on. I don't know anything about the cruise. I just saw the article written on it. Should be fun. I don't know if it's a fundraiser. I'm sure there's some type of fundraising for Florida Victorious or something along those lines. But I know a lot of other schools that have done those in the past. Like I know Notre Dame always does a kind of a golf trip with a lot of former football players over to Ireland. And I know they've played a game over there the last couple of years. So they kind of put the whole package together for the fan base. Amy says, if Shane's on the boat, it's a sellout. I don't know about that. Don't know about that. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is looking for an enthusiastic, motivated comfort specialist to join their team. $1,000 sign-on bonus after 90 days. Awesome benefits and the opportunity to grow with a winning team. Apply today at comforttemp.com. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Like I said, there's not a whole lot going on in sports right now. It's kind of that downtime. I will try to get some information on Gator football as the next couple of weeks progress. But like I said, right now, I know the coaches have their vacation time. All the athletes are doing are running and lifting. Not a whole lot of fun, but it's what you got to do to get ready for the season. So positive mentality. Nobody cares about how hard the schedule. I don't think the schedule's hard. I'm going to be the one to say, I don't care what anybody else says. Every team is just like us. We're going to go play them and see what happens. Anya Ron says, I have to do the podcast on the boat as I go down a slide. There you go. There you go. All right. Have a great day, folks. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, and we will see you then. Take care.